Under the cover of night, a girl flees from a farm in fear. She runs through a cornfield when she suddenly stumbles and falls. But there's no time to hesitate, so the girl gets up and keeps running. Reaching the highway, she signals to passing cars, and one of them stops. In the morning, psychiatrist Suzanne Mathis is awakened by a phone call that makes her uneasy. It's her day off, but Suzanne is urgently called into work. First, Suzanne wakes up her middle daughter, Jules, so she won't be late for school. Suzanne's husband, Peter, is making breakfast. Danny, the couple's youngest daughter, suffers from a kidney condition and has to take medication regularly. Danny is upset that her mother is always at work. Jules tells her younger sister that their mom is just trying to save everyone. An unidentified girl without any documents has been admitted to the local hospital. Nurse Adele Thornton explains to Dr. Mathis that a driver picked the girl up on the road, not far from a closed-off community in Amman County. Suzanne realizes that the girl is the same age as Jules. She has clearly been through a lot. Her appearance resembles that of a sleeping angel. Everyone is waiting for her to regain consciousness. At school, Jules has a best friend, Isaac, with whom she can share any secret. She's been secretly in love with a popular guy named Sebastian, and Isaac advises her to make a move. Meanwhile at the hospital, the unidentified girl regains consciousness in a disoriented state. However, when the medical staff tries to take her blood for analysis, the girl panics. Dr. Mathis is urgently called into the room, and she manages to calm the patient down, who still hasn't uttered a word. The girl silently expresses her gratitude to the doctor for her kindness. Suzanne feels she can't just leave this alone. Jules and her older sister Helen go to the same school but aren't close. In fact, Helen openly ignores her sister. Jules is passionate about photography and has even set up a darkroom in her bedroom. Suzanne asks the patient for her name, but the girl is too scared and remains silent. Suzanne decides not to pressure her. At home, Helen acts like nothing happened, but Jules can't forgive her for the cold treatment at school. The tension in the family is palpable. Suzanne can't sleep, constantly thinking about the mysterious girl found on the highway. What happened to her? It's clear that some religious cult is involved. Suzanne can't stay indifferent because in her childhood, there was no one to protect her either. In the morning, Peter skips breakfast as he prepares for a work meeting. Peter, who owns a construction firm, meets with Fisk, an old acquaintance and client. Fisk announces that he's backing out of the deal because he got a better offer. Peter is deeply disappointed. He spent 2 years on this. He has a mortgage and debts, but Fisk has made up his mind, advising Peter to sell the unfinished house. Sheriff Wilkins arrives at the hospital and demands that Dr. Mathis tell him whether a girl with wounds on her back has been admitted. Suzanne immediately senses something's wrong and doesn't answer. That evening, Peter still can't bring himself to tell his wife about the canceled deal. He wants to remain the perfect husband and father in Suzanne's eyes. Suzanne decides to have an honest talk with Jules, her middle daughter. High school is always tough, but for Jules the changes have been especially hard. She's convinced she'll never fit in. The girl in the hospital has been there for 3 days, and none of her relatives have come forward. As a result, the hospital administration has no right to keep her. The county doesn't have the funds to find a foster family for the girl, so Suzanne is the only option. Sebastian himself approaches Jules and starts a conversation. When he suggests they write a column together for the school newspaper, she's overwhelmed with embarrassment. Suzanne asks the girl to tell her anything about her past. Without it, Suzanne can't help her. When Dr. Mathis mentions that a man claiming to be a sheriff was looking for her, the girl clearly becomes frightened. Suzanne only wants her to know that, whatever happened, it wasn't her fault. The girl speaks for the first time, giving her name, May. When Danny and Jules return from school, they see May in their house. Suzanne tells her daughters that she intends to take temporary custody of May. Danny, also adopted, is happy to welcome a new family member, while Jules is not thrilled about having to give up her room for May. But when she sees the wounds on the girl's back, her emotions change instantly. Peter doesn't like that his wife didn't consult him before bringing an unknown girl into their home. Suzanne assures him that it's only temporary, just until she finds a permanent foster family for May. Suzanne can't abandon this unfortunate girl, who has no one else to protect her. Jules calls her best friend Isaac to complain that she now has to share a room with Danny. When Jules mentions that May is from Amman County, Isaac says there are rumors about abuses by the local sheriff. Jules flinches when May silently approaches her from behind in the bathroom. May says she's very sorry for causing inconvenience. Jules assures her not to worry and mentally notes that May's behavior is different from that of a typical teenager. She's extremely modest and afraid to say anything wrong, constantly apologizing for seemingly normal things. Dinner is ready and everyone gathers at the table. May meets Helen, who spends less and less time with the family. May is surprised that no one prays before dinner. That's not the custom in the Mathis household, but Suzanne offers May to say a prayer. The girl begins thanking the Prince of Darkness, their lord, for all the gifts he has bestowed upon them. Naturally, this throws everyone off, but they choose to act like everything is fine and continue with dinner. Detective Alex Lopez arrives at the hospital looking for a girl with cuts on her back. He recently transferred from Chicago and was assigned to this case. Sheriff Wilkins is connected to the religious cult May escaped from and intends to do everything he can to bring her back. May doesn't understand why Suzanne is being so kind to her. Suzanne tells the girl that she deserves it and that they will soon find her a new permanent home. May is intrigued by the photos on Jules' wall and many other things she has never seen before. She doesn't even know the purpose of most of them. May isn't the only one in the house who has lived through a nightmare. May doesn't leave her room unless she's given permission. Suzanne explains to her that here, she can come and go as she pleases. Suzanne picks out some clothes for the guest from Jules' wardrobe, since the girls are the same size. Jules doesn't object, though she doesn't look pleased either. As the family gathers for breakfast, a bird crashes into the kitchen window. The animal survives, and Suzanne offers to take it to a vet clinic. May unexpectedly says coldly that the bird won't live. Suzanne takes May to a social services psychologist, Jerry Thomas, so he can run some tests and help find a suitable family for her. Peter takes the injured animal to a bird sanctuary, but it's closed. He doesn't have much time, so he leaves the box with the bird at the door. Suddenly all the birds in the area begin acting strangely, circling above Peter's head. He decides to take the box back. When Adele learns that Suzanne took in the girl, she mentions the strange things happening in Amman. But Suzanne believes it's just folklore. Detective Alex Lopez returns to the hospital to speak with Suzanne. May is the only one who can tell them the full truth, but Suzanne doesn't think it's a good idea to question the girl right now. She's still in shock. Detective Lopez leaves his card with Dr. Mathis, hinting that he's on her side and that this is a police matter, not the sheriff's. Sebastian is impressed by Jules' photographs. They talk about new ideas for the school paper. It turns out they have a lot in common. Peter hides his financial troubles from the family. He has already received 2 late mortgage notices and asks bank employee Patty, an old acquaintance, for a delay. She promises to figure something out. Hospital administrator Rhoda Morrison calls Suzanne with good news. She has found potential foster parents for May. Jerry concludes that May was homeschooled, mostly in childcare and housekeeping. But she can also read and has decent math skills. The psychologist insists that May needs socialization. Suzanne thanks Jerry and leaves with the girl. May really wants to befriend Jules, who so far remains neutral. May mentions that she wasn't able to take any of her things from home, but she used to love making corn husk dolls with her sisters. Jules finds this cute and shows May her music box. Suzanne is troubled that May's parents still haven't come forward. Is no one looking for her? Peter understands that Suzanne wants to protect May because this story feels very personal to her. The past hasn't fully let go of Suzanne. Suddenly the couple's attention is drawn to a creaking floorboard in the hallway. Peter goes out to check, but May has already returned to her room by then. In the morning, Jules wakes up and is startled to see a corn husk doll on her nightstand. Before breakfast, Jules hands the doll to May, but the girl says it's a gift. Following her mother's advice, Jules photographs the doll for a school project in which people show items that are important to them. The police still can't identify the girl, her fingerprints aren't in any database, and no one has reported her missing. Clearly she hasn't been starved, but the marks on her back indicate she was part of a religious cult. And even though the Amman County Sheriff assured everyone there were no clues on the highway where the girl was found, Detective Lopez is determined to investigate in person and heads there. The highway is surrounded by cornfields. As he scans the area, Detective Lopez notices a knife in the grass and takes a photo of it. Suzanne introduces May to potential foster parents, Francis and Dean. May immediately realizes this is a religious family. There are many children in the house, mostly adopted. The family is large and follows a strict routine. Each member of the household has a list of chores. May doesn't like it there, but she tries not to show it. After a brief tour of the home, she and Suzanne leave to wait for a call from Child Services. Meanwhile, Detective Lopez continues his investigation and finds a creepy scarecrow with a pig's head in the middle of the cornfield. Something clearly sinister is going on here. Suzanne takes May shopping to buy her all the necessary things. During this time, Suzanne gets a call from Rhoda, who says that Francis and Dean are willing to take May in. Losing sight of the girl, Suzanne starts looking for her all over the store and then in the parking lot, but May is nowhere to be found. Suzanne's panic intensifies. Finally, she finds May sitting on a nearby bench. In tears, May confesses that she can't live in that house because there's nowhere to hide. Suzanne remembers her childhood, another escape attempt. She was running through the woods, chased by her stepfather, the sheriff. Suzanne knows what it's like to be in danger, so she fully understands what May is feeling. Detective Lopez runs into Sheriff Wilkins, who offers his theory that the girl's family hasn't reported her missing because they're religious and believe she'll come back on her own. Detective Lopez is skeptical of this theory. Sheriff Wilkins assures him he'll contact May's family himself and then pass along all the information to the police captain. As Detective Lopez drives away, he realizes the sheriff has something to hide. Suzanne asks Rhoda for permission to extend her guardianship over May. Right now the girl won't feel safe anywhere else the way she does with Suzanne, even if it's ethically questionable, given their doctor-patient relationship. Still, Rhoda agrees, seeing that Suzanne genuinely wants to help the girl. Peter gets a call from Patty, who tells him she secured a 6-week delay on his payment. Hearing this is a huge relief for him. May is happy to stay with the Mathis family, but Jules is tired of having someone else in her room. Suzanne asks her middle daughter to be patient and thanks Peter for letting May stay in their home a little longer. Suddenly Peter remembers he completely forgot to take the bird to the vet, and now the animal is dead. Jules is creeped out by the corn husk doll May gave her. But when she sees her mother treating an inverted pentagram-shaped wound on May's back, she's horrified. May often talks about her sisters and how things weren't like they were for other people. Suzanne cautiously asks if anyone else knew about this. In tears May says they all knew. Jules can't understand who would do such terrible things to May. Who could be capable of that? Suzanne promises her daughter she'll find out, but for now they mustn't pressure May. At one point Suzanne went through almost the exact same thing May is experiencing. The past still haunts her to this day. Now Jules really wants to help May and plans to become friends with her. That means a lot to Suzanne. In secret Peter prepares to bury the bird, but it has vanished from the box. Meanwhile May, carrying the bird's carcass, walks into the forest and begins some kind of eerie ritual, carving a symbol into a tree. Then May starts praying to dark forces. The next day Suzanne leaves work early, not noticing a religious symbol painted on her car. A custody hearing is held for May. She tells the judge she has never attended school. Since her parents didn't even show up, the court decides to extend Suzanne's guardianship of May for another 90 days. The next hearing will take place at the end of that period. Detective Lopez believes that the girl's biological parents pose a threat to her. But in any case, there's still no word from Sheriff Wilkins. Jules doesn't talk to any of the other girls at school, her only friend is Isaac. But she really wants to fit in with the group. Suzanne intends to enroll May in school, in Jules's class. Suzanne carefully questions May about her parents. The girl remembers her sisters, there were many of them. May's parents believed she was chosen and were preparing her for some kind of religious mission. But in the present, May doesn't want to talk about it. Without telling his wife, Peter put his construction agency up for sale. Suzanne called Detective Lopez and said that apparently May's father had been harsh. Possibly her mother was also a victim. Jules is still being ignored by her older sister at school, and it upsets her deeply. But now May will be attending the same school, and she doesn't know anyone here except Jules. Later, when May sees the same religious symbol on Suzanne's car, she becomes visibly nervous and volunteers to wash the car. Suzanne expresses her gratitude for the help. In reality, May just doesn't want to scare her new family. Peter invites his wife out to dinner at a restaurant. It's been a long time since they went on a date. Helen has started taking extra robotics classes because Teddy, the boy she's in love with, also attends them. Her best friend Tatiana Nelson feels jealous. Realizing that Tatiana is in love with her, Helen hurries away to avoid awkwardness. While the parents are at the restaurant, the girls plan to have a movie night with popcorn. But even at the restaurant, Suzanne's thoughts are consumed by May and work, which clearly upsets Peter. He's also worried about extra expenses, but Suzanne assures him that the subsidies will cover everything. Suzanne really wants to help this unfortunate girl, because Suzanne also went through a difficult childhood. May asks Danny what happened to her previous family. Danny tells her that her parents died in a car crash, and Suzanne adopted her. Danny fit into the new family, so she stayed for good. That's when May realizes what she must do. Jules clearly misses Helen, who has grown distant lately because of the boy. They used to braid each other's hair, but now they barely talk. May offers to braid Jules's hair while reminiscing about the past. Recently Alex Lopez broke up with his fiancée, so he's thrown himself into work. May asks Jules not to tell anyone where she's from. May is very afraid of being kicked out and sent back. Jules advises May to pretend to be normal until she actually believes it herself. Before the first day of school, Jules does May's makeup, and it's May's first time. She was never allowed to wear cosmetics before. When asked about her back, May prefers not to answer. Suzanne asks Adele what terrifying rumors circulate about the farm in Amman. Adele tells her about occultists who perform horrifying religious rituals. But many people dismiss it as fairy tales. At school, Jules tells May whom she should avoid. The popular upperclassmen are the kings and queens here. Then Jules introduces May to Isaac. They all study in the same class. Detective Lopez meets with the attorney of the Dodd family, May's parents, who still haven't shown up. Without a warrant, the detective doesn't even have the right to take their fingerprints. The attorney is already aware that Alex Lopez was transferred from the Chicago police after a scandal. He also reminds Lopez of the right to freedom of religion. Suzanne tries to learn more about May's mother, Abigail Dodd. Peter goes hunting with a good acquaintance, Cheryl Thurmond, who has influential connections. He offers her 5% of the deal if she helps find a buyer for his unfinished house. Suzanne receives a message from the detective stating that May's parents still haven't come. Cheryl is willing to help Peter, but for 10%. Suzanne learns Abigail's mailing address and leaves a note in her mailbox, asking her to call about May. Sebastian meets May and says her corn husk doll is amazing. He invites her to participate in a school project, ignoring Jules. Suzanne asks a local farmer where the Dodd family lives. Their mailbox is by the highway, but their house seems to be somewhere else. The farmer advises Suzanne to leave immediately. Sensing danger, she does just that. Jules tells Isaac, who is running for school president, that Sebastian decided to dedicate the first issue of the school newspaper to something other than the school campaign. Isaac is very upset and ignores Jules's messages for the rest of the day. From now on, May sides with Jules in all conflicts between the sisters, and this gives Jules confidence. At night, May secretly prays again to the dark forces. Detective Lopez calls Suzanne and tells her about the conversation with the lawyer. It seems this isn't just about a particular family, a whole religious cult is involved. Suzanne finds her own note in her mailbox. Apparently whoever these people are, they know where May is living now. That same evening, the girl tells Suzanne she's a good mother. May's past continues to haunt her. The real mother never protected her. May was merely a tool for their religious rites. For Abigail, her husband's word was law. May feels broken by her mother's betrayal and believes Suzanne would never do the same. Left alone in the kitchen, May grabs a knife, goes down to the basement and takes meat from the freezer, a moment intertwined with her past. May begins slicing the meat. Suzanne is tormented by nightmares in which she wanders through a cornfield searching for May. Peter reminds his wife that Danny's birthday is coming up. Today is Saturday, so they have time to prepare everything. Any message from Sebastian gives Jules a thrill of anticipation. The girl doesn't know that her new sister has something to hide. Together with Suzanne, Alex tries to uncover as much information as possible and starts surveillance on the farm in Amman. Suzanne calls Dr. Hawkins, a specialist in religious cults. But when Suzanne mentions Amman town, Dr. Hawkins abruptly ends the conversation. Receiving a duplicate set of house keys, May feels joy. Previously only the elders had keys. May and Jules grow closer. May had never been photographed before, and Jules suggests a small photo shoot. May secretly steals one photo from Jules's collection. Suzanne decides to go to Cleveland to speak with Dr. Hawkins in person. Danny, who goes with her mother, is upset that May is getting more attention now. Alex continues monitoring the occultists. For the first time May feels normal, posing in front of Jules's camera. Later, Jules shows her new sister how to develop film. Dr. Hawkins agrees to speak privately with Suzanne and reveals that Amman town is a closed sect where dark things happen. Judging by the brand on her body, May is very important to them, so they'll try everything to get her back. Dr. Hawkins advises Suzanne to try finding someone else who managed to escape the sect, that way May will see there's life outside the cult. Physically May may have run away, but until her mindset changes, her mind still belongs to the cult. Detective Lopez is assigned an assistant, intern Gina Brooks. They will continue the investigation together. Suzanne knows what she has to do now. The cult leaders are ready to lie about anything to keep control over their followers. At some point Suzanne notices a truck following her, which then suddenly disappears. Peter admits to his wife that his last deal fell through, but he promises to fix everything. Suzanne asks May if anyone else has escaped from Amman town. May says there was a boy named Enoch, but the Prince of Darkness punished him. However, May didn't witness it, so maybe Enoch is actually alive. Jules continues working on the school project with Sebastian, blushing at every sign of his attention. May notices this and offers to talk about it with Jules if she wants to. The girls become more than sisters, they become friends. May opens up more about her past, how she loved collecting herbs and taking care of the other girls. Suzanne calls Detective Lopez and tells him about Enoch. If they find the boy, he could help them with May's case. Jules is very nervous about the school article. Somehow May's photo ended up in the paper and her scar is visible in it. Victoria, the most popular senior, asks May what happened to her back. May says her family was very strict. Everyone admires the girl's bravery. Victoria asks Jules to take her photo too. Jules knows that Isaac and Victoria are enemies, but she agrees anyway. She really wants to fit in. A showing is held for the house Peter built. Thanks to Cheryl, many interested buyers show up. Suzanne is a big help to Alex in his investigation. They have something in common, a desire to help people. In one of the photos in May's file, Suzanne recognizes the truck that recently followed her. Jules gets what she dreamed of, Sebastian's attention and approval, but it ruins her friendship with Isaac. May's birthday is celebrated at a karaoke bar. Everyone enjoys the party. Thanks to May's photo in the school project, Jules gains many followers on social media. But Suzanne thinks this might be dangerous for May, who actually snuck the photo into the project to help Jules. Suzanne demands her daughter delete the photo immediately. Peter is surprised to learn that a man who didn't give his name paid for the party. While everyone is having fun, someone places a white rose on May's bed. Helen tells Jules that May isn't the kind of friend she needs, because May is clearly manipulating all of them. But Jules thinks Helen is just trying to ruin everything. Ever since Helen started dating Teddy, she acts like Jules doesn't exist. At home, May apologizes to Jules for not telling her about the photo. But Jules isn't mad at all. Peter and Suzanne's marriage has been troubled for a long time, but they avoid talking about it. Gina Brooks manages to discover that there are 5 farms in Amman County owned by different corporations, and they form a pentagram on the map. Sheriff Wilkins is protecting the religious cult, and May isn't just a runaway girl, she's the daughter of the cult's leader, Malachi Dodd. In the middle of the night, May walks outside into the rain holding a white rose, a symbol of purity, saying she doesn't want to go back. Jules hugs the crying girl. But May knows they'll come for her, because she is a key figure. The girls don't know they're being watched. Autumn, 1922, an old cemetery on a farm. A man sees a raven on a cross and understands that it is a sign from above. The man follows the bird. In the present, the Mathiases are preparing for Halloween. Jules is upset that May went shopping with Victoria without her. May reminds her that Jules had volleyball that day. Suzanne finds May's wet nightgown. The girl lies, saying she forgot to close the garage door and went outside during the night to shut it. Detective Lopez and her assistant Brooks continue to search for Enoch. Jules tells her mother what really happened the night after Danny's birthday. Jules is genuinely worried about May, and Suzanne shares her concern. Peter gets a call from Cheryl and is relieved to learn that a buyer has been found for the house. Suzanne catches May praying. The girl says it's an offering to make a wish come true. More than anything, she wants to stay with their family. When asked what would happen if she returned, May replies that it would be the same as with Mary. Long ago Caleb, one of the cult's most influential members at the time, received a sign from the Black Raven. To save the dying crops, Mary, who was recognized as the chosen one, made a voluntary sacrifice under the full moon. Thus Mary became the wife of the first prophet and dedicated her life to serving the darkness. Soon after, Amman town was founded. Now everything is repeating. The crops are dying, there is no food for the livestock. Like Mary, May must make a voluntary sacrifice. Now May blames herself for the suffering her family is experiencing due to the failed harvest. But Suzanne assures the girl it's not her fault and that she is worthy of love. Jules no longer talks to Isaac, but she's now friends with Sebastian. He suggests they go to the forest Halloween party together and notes it would be great if May joined them. Suzanne tells the detective about the sacrificial tradition to save the harvest. Suzanne fears that under the pressure of guilt, May might return to the cult. Finding Enoch is their only chance. Isaac is running for school president. Jules still hopes to rekindle their friendship, but he isn't interested. Today is a day off, but Suzanne is asked to cover for a colleague. Peter doesn't like that his wife has grown distant from the family, dedicating herself entirely to work in May. While the detective tries to piece together all the details of May's case, Peter meets with Cheryl, who turns out to be the buyer of the house. No one else agreed because the house is too custom-made and therefore expensive. Cheryl is ready to pay Peter just enough to cover the debts to the bank, but it's the best offer he can get right now. Of course he is deeply upset. Alex installs a hidden camera in a tree near the farm, this way he can gather evidence. Jules doesn't like that May copied her Halloween costume. Suzanne once again asks May about Enoch. Where did she last see him? May only remembers that after Enoch escaped, his parents were severely punished. Peter goes to the bank to request another extension on his loan, but his old acquaintance Patty Myers no longer works there. The new employee denies Peter an extension, and if he doesn't pay the debt within 6 days, the bank will seize his home. With the help of his dog, Sheriff Wilkins finds the hidden camera and deactivates it. But Alex still intends to continue his surveillance. Danny struggles to connect with her peers, who think she acts too childish. Jules and May, both dressed as Carrie from the Stephen King novel, get into Sebastian's car. At the hospital, chaos breaks out, Many teens are being admitted urgently after consuming questionable substances. During the youth Halloween bonfire party, Jules invites Sebastian to the school dance, but he's already asked May. Jules is jealous. Alex becomes convinced that Sheriff Wilkins is part of a religious cult that worships the Prince of Darkness. During the sacrificial ritual, none of them know that Detective Lopez is photographing the entire process. Upset, Jules asks Helen to drive her home because May is busy with Sebastian. But Helen plans to leave with Teddy. At that moment, Jules feels lonelier than ever and texts Isaac, but he refuses to come get her. Jules feels like a complete fool. Peter stops by a bar to drown his disappointment in alcohol. From her experience with many patients, Suzanne knows that people accustomed to abuse often return to their abuser, as it has become their norm. A full moon is approaching, and for May's cult, it is a significant event. A guy in a mask starts talking to Jules, while Helen, who has had too much to drink, throws up right in front of Teddy. The masked guy, who allegedly graduated from school last year, hints to Jules that they will meet again. Teddy disappears somewhere, and Tatiana brings Helen some water. Suzanne knows that if Enoch had ever been brought to the clinic where she works, it would be in the electronic records, but she doesn't have access to the files of patients she hasn't treated herself. Meanwhile, Alex continues surveilling the cult and takes photos to gather as much compromising material as possible. Jules asks May why she did it, knowing about her feelings for Sebastian. May tries to justify herself, but their conversation is interrupted when one of the teens shouts that the police are here. Everyone starts scattering into their cars. At the same time, Danny, who's completely alone, suffers a flare-up of her kidney disease and barely makes it home. The mysterious guy in the mask offers Jules a ride. At that moment, he removes his mask. Tatiana drives Helen home, feelings spark between the two girls. Suddenly, Helen notices that their front door is ajar. Peter receives a phone call that makes him alarmed, and he immediately leaves the bar. At the same time, Rhoda delivers bad news to Suzanne. Danny has been hospitalized in serious condition. Helen brought her in. The guy drives past Jules' house. Her phone is nearly dead. Rhoda senses that Suzanne is on edge and strongly advises her to start therapy. Fortunately, Danny has regained consciousness. The whole family except Jules gathers in the hospital room. Suzanne immediately realizes something bad has happened. Jules suspects nothing yet, charmed by the guy, although his behavior raises some concern. He demands that Jules get out of the car, then asks her to look up. They begin to admire the stars, and at that moment Jules's anxiety fades. It was a very romantic moment. There's no information on Malachi Dodd in the police database. Detective Lopez and Officer Brooks suspect that the cult members are manufacturing flammable substances to use for destructive purposes. There was a similar arson 9 years ago, and there was one survivor, James Dressler. Peter blames May for Jules going missing and plans to go look for his daughter. He accuses Suzanne of forgetting about the family altogether. Outraged, Suzanne reminds her husband that she has been working overtime for the past 2 years, while he invested all their savings into his business. That very night, someone set fire to the house Peter couldn't sell, so it was all for nothing. The couple's argument is interrupted by Jules returning home safe and sound. At that moment, Suzanne remembers the fights between her mother and her stepfather, Sheriff Denise. He abused alcohol and was often violent. Suzanne decides to share this with her therapist, Dr. Beverly Daniels. Yes, Suzanne finally committed to therapy. May apologizes to Jules and promises not to talk to Sebastian again. But Jules doesn't care anymore. She has a new friend. When May realizes she means Noah, her brother, she is horrified. But Jules doesn't even want to listen to May. Detective N. Beecham is investigating the arson of the house Peter built. Now he's lost everything. His biggest worry now is that there might be issues with the insurance payout. During her therapy session, Suzanne remembers how her mother chose Denise over her. Suzanne tried many times to convince her mother to run away with her, but she never did. Alex decides to go to church for confession, but not by chance. He knows the priest's name is James Dressler. Peter directly asks May if she's happy here. But he didn't ask out of nowhere. He believes the members of May's cult are the ones who set his house on fire. At that moment, May falls to her knees and begins to pray. Throughout her teenage years, Suzanne endured abuse from her stepfather while her mother did nothing, just to please Denise. Father James Dressler told the detective about his past. He used to abuse substances but later turned his life around by turning to God. As a priest, he denies ever seeing anything occult. Suzanne remembers running away from home when Denise was drunk. Only after that did her life begin to improve. A few years after she fled, her mother passed away of cancer. Once Suzanne couldn't save her mother from an abuser, so now she tries to save everyone else. But the therapist believes Suzanne doesn't actually feel pity for her mother, rather she feels anger at her for not protecting her. Now Suzanne projects her trauma onto May. However, Suzanne insists that the real root of her problems is that she stopped spending enough time with her family, and she refuses to continue therapy sessions. Jules apologizes to Isaac once again. Ever since May came into her life, Jules feels like she's been pushed to the background. Isaac forgives Jules. He's convinced May is a narcissist who enjoys being the center of attention. May, who knows a lot about herbs, prepares dinner. If she wanted to, she could put the whole family, or someone in it, to sleep. When May suggests saying a prayer before dinner, no one seems enthusiastic. Jules refuses to eat, and Peter takes her plate. The detective and his assistant have already gathered enough evidence, so they believe the captain will approve the investigation. Late at night, Jules is going to meet Noah in the park, as they had agreed, but May tries to stop her, confessing that Noah is her brother and that he is dangerous. May begs Jules to leave. When Noah arrives, the girls are already gone. Peter and Suzanne apologize to each other. They are doing everything for the sake of their family. Peter admits to his wife that the house deal didn't go as smoothly as he claimed. Cheryl offered a price that barely covered the costs. Now the police might suspect him of arson for the insurance payout. Peter also tells Suzanne that he doesn't like May's presence, because their family is going through a tough time as it is. He asks Suzanne to find May a new family as soon as possible, unaware that the girl is overhearing the conversation. It brings her to tears. While Detective Lopez keeps searching for more leads, Noah informs his father, the first elder, of the failure. Malachi is determined to finish what they started and get May back at any cost. May believes that if Peter disappears, her dream of a perfect family will come true. Meanwhile, Suzanne doesn't know how to tell May that she won't be part of their family. All of Suzanne's childhood nightmares flash through her mind. Soon Suzanne informs May that starting Monday, she will be enrolled in a specialized boarding school in Vermont, but she'll be able to visit them from time to time if she wants. May is very upset, but she doesn't show it. That same evening, the whole family and May attend Danny's school concert. May dreams of someone loving her as much as Suzanne loves her children. Tomorrow is the school dance, and Jules is assigned as the main photographer. There will also be a beauty pageant to crown the prom queen. May tries her best to please Suzanne in any way she can. Detective Lopez realizes that James Dressler lied about many things in his statement, but why? Is he afraid of something, or someone? Suzanne tells her daughters that she arranged for May to go to a special school in Vermont that deals with children like her. All the girls are happy to hear the news because they're tired of May. After the Halloween party, Helen starts avoiding Teddy, and eventually decides to break up with him. She's now trying to figure herself out. Detective Lopez notices that Wilkins is watching him and asks Gina to lend him her car. May tries to befriend Helen, but Helen clearly isn't interested. However, for the first time in a long while, Helen opens up to her mother, talking about her issues with Teddy and her doubts about college. Suzanne feels sorry for drifting apart from her daughters because of May. Until Peter decides what he'll do next, he plans to focus on renting out apartments, and Cheryl will help him with that. Detective Lopez visits the Mathis home and delivers bad news. The case on May will soon be closed, but they still have some time. Putting the facts together, they come to a conclusion: James Dressler is Enoch, and they need to talk to him as soon as possible. While Jules and Isaac get ready for the school dance as photographers, Peter tells his wife that he found a job. Everything will work out soon. Suzanne tells her husband she intends to help Detective Lopez find the witness, but after that, she promises to focus on the family. It'll all be over soon. Jules and Helen grow close again, like old times. When Teddy shows up, Helen initially thinks he wants to get back together, but it turns out he's there for May. Moreover, she's wearing Suzanne's old prom dress. Detective Beecham summons Peter for questioning, while Suzanne and Alex find James Dressler at the church and call him Enoch. He tries to escape but gets cornered. From Detective Beecham, Peter learns that Patty was fired from the bank for unauthorized extension of his payment. Peter knew Patty had a crush on him since school, and he took advantage of it. Now Detective Beecham suspects Peter of insurance fraud. Peter refuses to speak without a lawyer. Enoch tells how after escaping the cult, Sheriff Wilkins tried to get rid of him and set the fire. The sheriff acted on Malachi's orders. Nothing happens without his will. Enoch had to change his name and identity. When May shows up at the school dance with Teddy, all eyes are on them. Suddenly her veil slips off her shoulders, and everyone sees the pentagram on her back, repeating how strong she is. Enoch explains to Suzanne and Alex that when Mary refused to marry Caleb, the previous first prophet, she was sacrificed. But the prophets twisted the story to use it as a method of control. May is destined for the same fate. The rituals are usually held during a full moon, which happens to be tonight. May still hopes to rekindle her friendship with Jules, but Jules makes it clear that she doesn't want that kind of friendship. May tells Jules that she doesn't even realize how lucky she is, taking her home, family, friends and everything else for granted. Suzanne rushes to the school to save May. But she's not the only one heading there. Helen refuses to take part in the beauty pageant and suggests to Tatiana that they run away together. Their feelings grow stronger. As a result of the voting, May becomes the prom queen. But when the girl is handed a bouquet of white roses instead of carnations, as it was supposed to be, she realizes her family is near. And Jules realizes it too. The truck that had been following Suzanne begins to ram her car. At the same time, Jules is frantically calling out to May, who has suddenly disappeared. At the police station, Alex notices Danny and asks his colleague what happened. After the accident, Suzanne is barely injured and refuses hospitalization. Every minute counts now. Alex convinces Detective Beecham that Peter's house was burned down by cult members because the Mathiases are sheltering their daughter. This clears Peter of all suspicion, and he is released. Jules tells her arriving mother that May is missing. Suzanne's phone is gone, and she can't reach Alex, who at that moment is being summoned by his superiors. But Suzanne is not going to wait. She is determined to do everything she can to save May. Malachi is already waiting for May. It's the full moon tonight, which means the time has come. They begin preparing her for the ritual, again. Abigail reminds her daughter that through this voluntary sacrifice, she will save their people. Then Abigail places a veil over her daughter's head, saying that there is no greater expression of love for one's family than the willingness to sacrifice oneself. Sheriff Wilkins reports to Malachi that Noah crashed into Suzanne's car and notes that the young man will make an excellent successor. But things don't go according to plan when the county police in turn inform the sheriff that Suzanne refused medical assistance after the accident and drove away. Suzanne is already in Amman town and sees that the community members are preparing for the ritual. Upon learning that his wife went in search of May, Peter decides to take the daughters to a safe place. The captain decides to close May's case, due to the victim's uncooperative attitude and to avoid straining relationships with colleagues. Frustrated, Alex receives a voicemail from Suzanne sent from an unknown number and learns that May has been kidnapped. Suzanne didn't consider that her shoes would leave tracks on the ground, and the sheriff notices them. Suzanne decides to put on a black cloak to blend in with the cult members. The ritual begins. May dressed in a wedding gown is led to the altar, and Malachi reads a passage from the covenant, declaring that he is ready to offer the Prince of Darkness the most precious sacrifice, his own blood. Malachi follows in the footsteps of his grandfather Caleb. May is led to the sacrificial pyre, and Suzanne watches the procession when suddenly Sheriff Wilkins attacks her from behind. Suzanne uses pepper spray. During their struggle, a fire breaks out. Driving past their house, Peter sees a symbol painted on the front door. May accepts her fate, believing no one will save her. But she doesn't know that one of the cultists in a cloak is actually Suzanne. Or does she? The ritual is interrupted when everyone sees the church is on fire. Now the top priority is to save the temple of the Prince of Darkness. Malachi orders Noah to watch over May while the others put out the fire. Wilkins tells Malachi that Suzanne is here. They must find her immediately. Peter brings the daughters to a safe place, one of the model apartments. He has no idea where to find his wife. May finds hope when she realizes that Suzanne hasn't abandoned her. But Abigail is determined to see the ritual through to the end. Suzanne urges Abigail to be reasonable. After all, as a mother, she must protect May. To that, Abigail says May is willingly offering herself as a sacrifice. May says she doesn't want to die. When Noah lights the sacrificial pedestal on fire, May jumps, and Suzanne jumps after her. Suddenly Noah grabs Suzanne, but May knocks her brother out with a shovel and saves her. May yells for her mother to jump right now, but Abigail, because of her religious belief, stays in the fire, sacrificing herself. Alex arrests Sheriff Wilkins, and when he resists, fires a shot. The cult members gather around Abigail, engulfed in flames. Malachi begins to shout that his wife sacrificed herself instead of her child, which means they are saved. Everyone starts chanting those words in unison. For the first time, Peter tells Jules about her mother's difficult childhood. He partly blames himself for everything that's happening now, because he allowed it to happen. When asked if everything will be okay, Peter replies that he truly doesn't know. Meanwhile, Alex drives Suzanne and May away from that horrible place. Suzanne tells May that she's safe now. May cries and thanks Suzanne for saving her. Some time passes. Thanksgiving arrives. Jules is now a new Jules, someone who's in the spotlight but still values friendship. She's found her balance. Suzanne resumes therapy to work through her trauma. Alex has been promoted to lieutenant. Peter stops by the police station to personally thank Alex for everything. The investigation into Amman town continues. May will spend Thanksgiving with Suzanne. Her relationship with her husband is strained because of her decision to stay with May. By the time Lieutenant Alex and Detective Brooks arrived in Amman town, the cult members had already fled the area. Peter is adamantly against his daughters having any contact with May, So they live separately from Suzanne. The family is divided, but Suzanne promised Peter she would keep trying for the sake of their future. Before the Thanksgiving dinner, May says a prayer, a normal prayer. Suddenly Suzanne receives a call from Alex and learns a shocking truth. Before the school dance, May had replaced the chrysanthemums with white roses herself, and then stole Teddy's car, Helen's ex-boyfriend, and went to him on town voluntarily. No one kidnapped May, she orchestrated everything herself. Suzanne can barely keep it together, realizing she's been manipulated by May. The girl wanted Suzanne, and now she has her.